rest of the Packers regular season that can be as great as this day. Because you're lying if you didn't think it might be over. The possibility that Jordan Love's season was over or that the injury would be serious, he's coming back. Maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Nothing else matters. You can say the rest of the team stinks. You should still be drinking legally what you can, and I can't right now. But once this show's over, oh, baby, I'm getting some Fireball on the rocks. Joining us now is the Doctor of Football, Bryan Bulaga. Are you as happy as I am?
I'm relieved.
What?
I'm very. What do you mean? What? I'm very relieved.
Relieved?
Yeah, that he's okay.
That's not strong enough. That's not strong enough. You could say to me, Homer, I played football. I knew it wasn't that serious. If you tell that to me, then I'll accept that from you. But I don't care who anybody else is. There was a fear. He was done. This season was done. And it was the disaster that everybody fears that the Jets learned last year. But I will defer to you. When you saw it, what'd you think? And then I know you did because you study everything. I know you looked at replays of it and tried to figure it out, or take it away. Tell me when it happened and your process, medical doctor of football, from then on.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, I've had a lot of knee injuries. So I look at certain mechanisms and I ponder to myself, have I been in that situation? Most likely, and see how it happened. When it first happened, I didn't think too much of it from the live game. I didn't think too much of it. I thought, he just kind of got a little tweak. And then he was out. And then, Twitter, or X, and they start zooming in on the knee and the slow-mo, and you see that shift in the knee. And instantly my brain goes to something bad, right? Something that knocks him out for the year. Like that right away, I think ACL, because that's very common when you see that shift in a knee, something doesn't go right. And it's really bad. And fortunately for him, it wasn't that. It's something that is way less serious, which is fantastic. But I was worried, just like everyone else, for the first 24 hours or whatever it was after the game, until reports started to slowly leak out that it was only maybe an MCL, maybe a little bit worse. I'm not sure. I was very relieved by it. And you're right. Am I going to drink tonight over it? No, I probably won't drink.
Why not? Or do you not drink? Because
no, I
what?
drink, but
do you know how? Do I need to tell you how painful this would have been if he was out for not even the whole season? Say he's out for 8 weeks. Year's done. It's over.
Oh, it would have been brutal. Oh yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
And we'd be doing this show for 16 weeks in pain.
You're right. Listen, if he was out for more than half, it would be doom and gloom. There's no doubt. That's the way it goes. And you look at any NFL team, take away their starting quarterback, chances are they're probably not going to do too good.
The Packers have a chance to be as good as you thought they might be. It could be a little bit tougher, but there is no level that whatever you had them at before that you can't still have them at.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I still think that they can get
Pebble, make sure you have that down, the bit there when Bulaga says, I agree. I need to hear that more often. I know I'm not going to him, but we can make it on tape. All right, go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, I still think this team can get to where they need to be at the end of the season. I really do. And that's, like we saw last year, getting in. That's all you need is to get in. You get in and let things work itself out from there. So, I still think that's all in front of this team. I think there's, I watched this game a couple times because
really
there was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot to digest, and I didn't get the all 22 till a little bit later this afternoon. So I had to watch a condensed replay, and then I finally got the all 22. So then I watched the all 22. So I watched it a couple times, and there's a lot of good things.
I agree.
There's a lot of, and then like you and I talked about before, there's a lot of sloppy play.
Well, no, it's the first game. It's crap. They're going to both teams play. There was sloppy football all over because this is the first time they actually played football in how many months?
Yep. So, I don't walk away from this game Discouraged? Yeah, sure. Wanted to win? Sure. I don't want Jordan Love to even miss a minute or a snap of a game. Like, no, that's all stuff that isn't good. I'm not about moral victories here. Like, there's no moral victory. But I don't watch that film and think this team's cooked. There's no way. The defense is throw it away. Like, I'm nowhere near that. And I'm nowhere near that for a lot of reasons, because we'll start with the defense. Like, I watched the defense, and sure, they gave up some big plays. Big plays are going to happen. That's the
You got to help
can't
me on
win or
this,
lose.
because I'll be real simple. You know why they give up big plays? Because Clay Walker's in the worst place possible on a lot of those big plays. He gambles, and you see him running by, and they're going on. And I don't know if it's appropriate to blame him that much, but he gambles on everything. And when you see those huge holes, there's Clay Walker somewhere else. And oftentimes he's gone past the play. But I could be wrong on that, but that's the view I have.
No, I mean, like, I think a couple runs, he probably would have liked to fit better on a couple of the runs. But a couple of those big runs, our D-line was stunting. They got washed out of a hole, and Quay had to pick. And he picked wrong. And hey, those things happen when there's line movement and guys are washing guys out of hole. Like, sometimes the linebackers have to take a guess, and they guess wrong. So, like, I'm not excusing some of the things, but, like, you just I'm looking at this from, like, an old lineman's point of view. Like, if I'm washing a D lineman down, if they're stunting, and and the linebacker has to guess, he's going to guess wrong, because the back, and they have a good back, and Saquon is going to make sure that linebacker's wrong, no matter what. If he's got to guess, he's going to be wrong, and that's what Saquon did a bunch. And you know what? But again, back to it. The defense gets 3 takeaways, right? 3 takeaways. In any game I can remember, when a defense gets 3 takeaways, it's normally a blowout.
And they win. And when you win did somebody come up with a stat? Pebble, look for these. They have like a minute stats. If you win the turnover battle by 2, which the Packers did, I think 3-1.
Yep.
I bet you win 95% of the games. Well, somebody looked that up. So
it's something like that. And then you look at what we did. We got 9 points off of 3 turnovers.
Yep.
They got 7 off of 1 turnover. That completely negates the turnover battle. And we had turnovers that put us down in good field position.
The second one, the Packers had first and goal at the 3. They didn't start. They started on the 13, and they had first and goal at the 3. The other time, they had first and 10 at the 12. So they not only got turnovers, they started with the ball at the 19 of Philly and the 13 of Philly on those first 2 turnovers. So it's even worse than you're stating.
Yeah. That's like what I'm saying. Like, if you look, if Green Bay cashes those 2 in, and they get 14 out of them, and then they end up getting 17 out of the turnovers, the game's won, because now you're putting Philly in a position that no matter what, they got to throw the rock. And now Green Bay's defense gets to do what they want to do. Ultimately, every D lineman wants to do it. They want to rush the passer. And that's the position you want to put these teams in. With an aggressive defense like Green Bay now has, you're going to have this feast and famine type deal. You're going to get turnovers. And when you get these turnovers, you got to cash them in, because there's chances that offenses, because of how aggressive this defense is by nature, they're going to crack one every now and again. And that's what you live with it, but you don't want to, like, take away that defense's aggression and how they're playing, because, like, oh, we got to make sure, we don't give up a big play here. Then you play soft and you play cautious on defense, and then you start getting these long, drawn-out drives that kill the clock. Your offense can't get back on the field, and they end up scoring a touchdown anyway. So, like, I'm not off the boat on the Packers defense by any stretch of the imagination, because I know for a fact that Kenny, that Preston, that Rashawn, that Van Ness can all play better. I know they can play better, and they're going to play better. So, like, I am not worried yet. Yes, I think Cooper, the linebacker, is going to get some more time. I think he's going to get some more time. I mean, he didn't play much. From the snaps that he did have, he looked good. So I think he's going to get more time. But this is I'm not saying this is the way I wanted it to start, but like you expect certain things in week one from a defense that's brand new that hasn't played.
Yeah, well, let me
Right?
give
Like
you a clue on the last possession of Philadelphia. They started 1st and 10 on the 30, and it took forever, and there were literally no third downs. There was a 3rd and 7, and then there was a penalty holding on a defensive lineman. I didn't even think that exists. Okay, what explain to me what is holding on a defensive lineman? He's holding someone from doing what? If he's holding someone, then he can't do anything. And that was on Clark, right? But my point was they went all the way down the field, and the only other time they had 3rd and goal at the 1. But I'm saying they were able to get yardage, and some of it was penalties, but they didn't even have to go to a 3rd down. But, yeah, since I went to that drive, how many times have you ever seen holding on a defensive lineman?
It doesn't get called often. I'll put it that way. It's not a very regular call. Like it
right,
has
because
to be
that
really,
hurts. There's no point. That hurts the defensive player generally, right? I mean, so you're holding someone. Why would a defensive lineman hold someone? So that an offensive lineman can't get out ahead and go out further up the field, or what?
Well, yeah. So like a lot of the times the D tackles will hold the front side blocker of a combo block, so he can't climb to the linebacker.
Oh, all right.
Or on a TE twist or something like that, they'll hold an offensive lineman so the looper gets a free run past the guard. So like there's things, it happens all the time. It doesn't get called. Just like offensive holding happens every single play and it doesn't get called. That kind of shocked me a little bit, like especially in the moment of the game. Like that's not really a call you're looking to make at that point in time. Like you make that call early to set a precedent. Like, hey, we're watching this.
You can't do this.
Yeah, you can't do that. So
it's what I want on defensive backs, that when you grab a jersey, it is an automatic penalty. I don't know how they can't come up with that rule. It doesn't mean that it necessarily is that much worse, but you can't grab a jersey. You can hold, you can kind of put your hand on it. You grab it.
You can't pull it.
Yes.
You can't pull it.
Right.
By rule, that is a penalty.
I know, but it just looks so bad, and I don't even know how much benefit you get. But, you just – it'd be easy to tell defensive backs, you can't grab. Once we grab, there are certain things probably an offensive lineman knows that you can't do that will almost always be called a penalty, even though it's a crazy, crazy call. What did you know as an offensive lineman you couldn't do? Grab? Can you grab as an offensive?
It's really grabbing outside of your body frame, right? Like,
okay.
So outside of my frame, if that guy's outside of my frame and I'm pulling and I'm holding on to him, I'm gonna get called every time, especially at tackle with the referee right there looking right at me because he starts from outside in. So if I got a guy outside my body and I'm holding on to him, I'm getting a flag every single time.
Right.
So that's the old saying with the O-lineman, don't get beat with your feet. So you can hold the crap out of a guy, but if your feet are within his frame and you're keeping him in your frame, you're never going to get called because you got the man in front of you. You could have a handful of jersey, but you know what? Your feet aren't beat. He's not outside your frame. You're not restricting him from, just running around an edge and you're trying to pull him back. Like, you're in front of him. So
when someone would call that a hold, that's when an offensive lineman goes crazy.
Yes, that's when we lose it a little bit. Get a little angry.
And you should.
Oh yeah.
Did you ask the official what? Not that it happened to you very often, but what do you think the official would say? He would argue with your feet or that you weren't square or something? They got to come up with something.
Yeah, they would say you were grabbing them, and then it would get sent in to the NFL the following day by the coaches, and it would come back.
Yeah, that we made a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. So the holding call is so judgmental, right? Like it is the most judgmental call because everything happens so quick. Unless it's so egregious, like I told you, like the guy's way outside. Like Rasheed Walker had one on the turnover drive, right? That. He got beat outside. He grabbed the guy around the waist and stopped. Like that's a hold. Like that's going to be called every single time. Like that's egregious. No matter what, you're getting called. But like you got a guy inside the frame and you're bodies in front of him and they call holding. That's just wild.
All right, we're going to take a break, and I want to get to the other officiating because the officiating is a huge issue. I'm certain that you have never had a 12-on-12, too many men on the field on both teams on the same play. I'm certain of that. Am I correct?
Correct.
Now, Tausch had a great point that if it's 12-on-12, they shouldn't call anything.
No, Tausch just so progressive with his rules. Just
right? I mean, that's right. I mean, if each team has a guy running off the field, right?
Yeah.
I might drop the flag and then pick it up, or so. I don't know. It's never happened, so no one can have any experience of it.
Yeah, I've never seen it until Friday night. Put it that way.
So you wouldn't object to 12-on-12. You're okay if each team has a player coming off the field.
No, I do object to it. It's a penalty.
All right.
It's a penalty.
We tried. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
No more accidents out on the road right now. We do have delays, though. Southbound 43 from just before Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette. Northbound slowing down from just before Fond du Lac Avenue to just past. Westbound on 94 slowing down from about 25th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Southbound 41 heavy from Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive. Traffic is brought to you by Two Men in a Junk Truck. Have unwanted clutter or junk? Go to twomeninAjunkTruck.com for a free, no-obligation estimate. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, mainly clear, low of 62. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm. A slight chance for light shower at night, a high of 83. Weather is brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirit deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
It doesn't matter if it's your first betting slip ever or just the first one of the week. We've got your Potawatomi sportsbook picks covered. Tune in Wednesdays to The Weekly Wager with Greg Matzik, Ben Brust, and Jen Latta.
If someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything, you take it.
The Weekly Wager, Wednesday nights at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
Are you looking for a reliable ride? I've got you covered. It's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta. I use AccuTrans Group for my private transportation needs during the college football season. AccuTrans is a veteran-owned business dedicated to providing unmatched corporate, personal, and event-related transportation that you will use again and again. From corporate travel and weddings to group events, AccuTrans Group caters to every occasion. Booking is easy, safe, and dependable. Visit AccuTransGroup.com to get a quote or to book a reservation today for reliable and safe transportation.
Time is running out on the Brewers regular season. Hurry up and catch the crew battle the Diamondbacks September 20th through the 22nd for College Night and a Brewers Puppy Vest giveaway on the 21st. Get your seats now at brewers.com/tickets.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
I'm here with Dr. Daniel Holub at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doctor, let's say someone is feeling some pain. That pain, it just will not go away. What's the next thing that person should do?
Get an appointment with one of the specialists at Orthopedic Associates, and we will work through that problem with you.
In your position, you help people get rid of pain. You help them be able to move and be active again. How rewarding is it for you to really see someone regain a certain quality of life?
That's got to be the best part of my job, is seeing somebody that's been struggling either for a short time with a fresh injury or a long time with a degenerative condition, and being able to find a proper solution for them, whether it's just a rehabilitation process or if it's a surgical process, and watching them over the course of weeks to months improve to the point of enjoying life again.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a generator from Adams, Wisconsin's #1 rated Generac dealer. Adams provides sales, installation, maintenance, and 24/7 service from all locations. Learn why Adams is your best choice in providing power peace of mind. Visit adamspower.com today.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are, but she wants a diamond. You know it, I know it, and Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. 2-carat total weight diamond studs for $8.95. Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. They get it. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds. $8.95 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield and in Brookfield. Why overspend? People that don't get it, you can see $5,000 from some jewelers. You go to Robert Hack Diamond. Go wherever you want. Just make sure you go there because they know. And I know when you go there, then it's over. Your visit will be worth it. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold like they did for me. Before you do anything, call Robert Hack Diamonds, roberthackdiamonds.com, roberthackdiamonds.com. Visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield. Yeah. Then you'll thank them, and then you'll thank me. Another case where it helps my reputation. All right, it is the Monday Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour. During the season, Rob Domowski will be on at Pebble. What is it, 5:30?
5:30.
Well, we'll see if he's going to have Fireball on the rocks after the show because you should be that happy. If you're not that happy, then you're not admitting how sad you and what you feared. It was very possible that the Packers season was over, done, over. No chance to do anything. 16 wasted weeks. And instead, Jordan Love is out 2 weeks, I'd say. And they, the Packers, can still possibly achieve whatever their goals were, though it will be a little bit easier. Now, Bryan Bulaga, you agree with that, though you're not going to have any Fireball on the rocks?
Yeah, no, I agree with it, minus me consuming tonight. I had my fair share on Saturday, so I'm good. But it couldn't have worked out any better for the team unless he didn't get hurt, right? Like the only thing better was if he didn't get injured at all. So to know what the reports are that it's an MCL, at least that's what the reports are. I have no idea what the exact injury is, if there's anything else involved. Like I have no idea. You can only go based off what the reporting is. That's an injury that can heal itself. The MCL can recoup on its own. It's got blood flow to it, so it's the best thing that you could probably injure in the knee that doesn't require surgery unless it was completely gone, like grade 4, and then you probably have to get it done. But,
so it's grade 1, which is the best grade you can get.
Is that what it is?
I think they said grade 1, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then, yeah.
It's between grade 1 and grade 2, according to Ian Rappaport.
All right. 1.5.
Okay,
we'll
so 1.5. So, yeah, it's the best.
It's good.
And like, I'm not going to put it out there because I don't know it, but there's a chance. Matt LaFleur says, we'll see how he feels. We're not ruling him out. We're waiting to take it all the way. Like, there is a chance that he does feel good enough.
He's not playing this week. Whatever you want to bet. I know what I'm saying is I'll bet you whatever you want. He ain't playing this week. This is all one of those goofy things that coaches do.
I can only go based off my experience of my own knee and having these MCL sprains.
Wow.
It's all based on how you feel going up throughout the week and how it recovers.
Okay, well, maybe then you should bet. But even, did you ever have a 1.5? Do you know how did they grade yours or did you not even know what number it was?
It was normally it was always 2s to 3s, things like that.
So really, based on your experience, it's reasonable to think of the possibility that he could play this week. You're not saying he will.
I mean,
but if it's really a 1.5.
Yes.
All right.
There's a chance that he could. If he feels good enough, I don't see, like, it's all going to be based on, can he protect himself, right? Can he move around?
Whatever you say, I have no idea. I don't know what you mean by that.
It's based on, like, can he get out of the way? Can he move on it confidently? Obviously, he'll probably end up taping it really well or putting a brace on it to secure that thing, because a brace will help the MCL. It won't help anything else, but it'll help the MCL, or a good tape job. We'll take care of that. So if he feels like it, and Doc McKenzie and Flea and Nate and the trainers there feel like he can move and protect himself good enough, and he feels like he's okay to play, then he'll play.
Even at $250 million.
Hey, I'll tell you this much. There was a guy that was there before him that played on a fractured whatever, and he was making a lot of money too. Quarterbacks are stubborn like that. Like, and we had Favre, we had Aaron, and now we have him. They're very stubborn. If they think they can play, they're going to play, because they know the easiest way to protect themselves is get rid of the football. So they can protect themselves and not get hit by getting rid of the ball on time. They don't got to move around in the pocket, and they can sit back there and just deal. So yes, I'm not saying that he's going to, but
I got it.
If it's truly a grade 1 to grade 2 and he feels good enough, I'm not ruling him out until he gets ruled out by the team. That's
Explain
the way
when I watch, I'm sure there was a pop on the knee. So the guy leans into him, and you can see, and then like outside it was a pop. And I didn't hear the pop, but you could see. Is that normal, or it sure looked bad?
Yeah, that's why my first assumption was this is not good, because like obviously I've never had a replay of my knee when I've torn.
Did you have a pop? Did you feel a pop?
Yeah, you feel a small pop in it, like, and you feel it, and I don't know if you feel it or hear it, but it's you know what I mean. That's what it feels like.
All right.
And you get up and your body's a little in shock from it, and you start walking, and then it starts to just hit you like, yeah, you can't push off on this thing like that. I mean, it's at the moment when it happens, your leg is like dead. Like it feels like you can't push off of it. It's hard to walk on it, which is kind of why you saw what he was doing on the sideline. I mean, it just feels like there's no power in it, and that's normal for an MCL tear or sprain, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, obviously when I saw that video, that worried me a little bit, because I've never seen it up close for an MCL sprain that it does that. Like, right, normally you see these videos of these things, an Achilles go or an ACL goes, and you're like, oh my gosh, like you see it right away. So like when you saw that replay on Twitter, that's what my initial thought was, like, this isn't good. And then you saw the way he reacted. Like, I was concerned, but then the news started to come out, and yeah, I probably should have had a drink when the news came out yesterday that it wasn't as bad. But again, I wanted to wait to see what LaFleur had to say today, and kind of what stuff started to leak out of there. And
I mean, he was in major pain, and he was lying on the field, and they really, at least what I saw, they were really telling him to sit up. Like, they no, you need to sit up. I don't know if that changes what they can do with your leg or whatever, but he was.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
Want him to get up.
Yeah, I don't know how much pain you're normally, but he looked like he was in.
They just want you to get up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not comfortable. I can assure you that it's not comfortable, and there's a good chance, if I know Doc McKenzie, which I know very well. I mean, he's done it to me a million times. Checks your knee on the field, does a quick test on it to see what it is. That's why they wanted to get him up so quick, because they knew the ACL probably wasn't compromised at that point. So they knew he could stand up without compromising the knee and get off the field under his own power, with some assistance, but under his own power. So that's probably why they were telling him to get up. The knee's safe enough, and they got him up and got him to the sideline. But listen, that happens. I know exactly how it felt and how he felt at the time. Like, it feels terrible, and a lot of bad things go through your head when you feel that pain in your knee. Even though it wasn't as bad as it was, or what people initially thought, those thoughts creep into your head, and they're not good thoughts. And the first thing you want to hear from Doc is it's not the ACL, and then you get a little bit of calming effect, and then it's like, okay, well then what is it? And that's when the scans come in, and the reports come out today that it's the MCL. So that it is the best case scenario.
I only had one such experience with a very, very seriously pulled hamstring. They thought it was off the bone, and I went to see the doctor, and he did it in a way that it hurt so much. I was screaming so loud. I was afraid the other people in the building were going to go like, is he okay? Is he dead? Like, I didn't even care how loud it was. So I can't imagine, because I'm sure it's worse than that. All right, Rob Demoski, we'll get to all the officiating and with the doctor. But yes, I've got other things. Adam Schefter says he thinks maybe week 4, but I'm comfortable with the doctor, the medical doctor of football, Bryan Bulaga. If it is legitimately 1.5, then it's reasonable to wish or hope or think that he might play this week, though by no means anything close to a guarantee. Did I give your position properly?
Correct. There's absolutely no guarantee of that. There's a lot of things that go into making that decision, but I'm saying if it is actually a 1-5 or a 1 to 1, whatever it is, and he feels good enough and he can protect himself, then I'm going to wait till game day to get my hopes up, because that's how I feel like this goes a lot of the time. So I'm gonna hold out hope until the roster comes out on Sunday.
Are you going to be comfortable if that becomes, hey, if you have 5 million follows on Twitter, we'll make sure that we present it properly, right, Pebble?
Oh, it's got to be, because I don't
always
know,
do.
And I certainly don't want to, I don't know anything.
Correct.
I'm just going based off past experience.
Yeah, no,
myself.
You know that injury. You don't know this one.
Yes.
All right.
I don't know what he's got. I know what I got from an MCL sprain.
And the way quarterbacks are. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just put it all together, right, Pebble, and let people listen to it and make their own decision.
100%.
Yeah. Rob Demoski. See what he thinks next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
We got an accident on 94 eastbound just at the end of the 175 southbound on-ramp to 94 eastbound. So that, along with heavy volume, going to be slow from 92nd Street to that point. Westbound is heavy from 16th Street all the way past Mitchell Boulevard all the way to 68th. And then on southbound 43, we're seeing delays from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette interchange. Northbound slow from the Marquette up past Fond du Lac Avenue. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight, mainly clear, a low of 62. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm. Slight chance for a light shower at night, a high of 83. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
They say seeing is believing. And when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Ever dreamed of teeing off inside American Family Field? Now's your chance with Upper Deck Golf. From November 7th through the 9th, experience a one-of-a-kind round of golf, hitting tee shots from the upper deck throughout the stadium to custom greens below. Enjoy VIP treatment with great music, cold beers, food, and golf challenges at the Clubhouse Festival inside the stadium. Upper Deck is open to all ages, but tee times are limited, so book now. Head to upperdeckgolfing.com to book a tee time today.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Tailgating is back, Wisconsin. Have you ever wondered how tailgating started? One theory is that it started during the first college football game in 1869, as spectators spent their pregame ritual grilling sausages at, of all places, the tail end of a horse. Another is that tailgating started in 1919 during the first Green Bay football season. Fans backed up their pickups to the field, folded down their tailgates for seating, and served food and beverages. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Since 1960, we've been the place to stock up for all your tailgate rituals. With over 2,000 varieties of beer, 3,500 types of liquor, and over 8,000 wines, Discount Liquor is your one-stop tailgate shop. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow. See all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Discount Liquor.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
Jordan Love sustained a knee injury near the end of the Packers' season-opening loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil. Tests revealed that the Packers quarterback suffered a sprained MCL, and NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reported over the weekend that Love will miss a few weeks of action.
It is an MCL sprain between grade 1 and grade 2. Probably knocks him out. My understanding is about 3 weeks. Could he beat it? Certainly he could.
The Packers welcome the 0-1 Indianapolis Colts to Lambeau Field Sunday for their home opener. Kickoff is at noon.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
It used to be Jason Wilde and Bryan Bulaga. Now it's Rob Domowski and Bryan Bulaga, and all I have to do is listen. Rob does not know this, but I never ask anybody how they are, so the kindness of the interview always starts with the Doctor of Football, Bryan Bulaga.
Rob, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, Brian. How are you?
I'm good. I appreciate it. I mean, I can imagine you've been a little bit busy over the last 48 hours.
Yeah, a little bit, although I did have the luxury, I guess I would use the word luxury, of not having to travel to Brazil. So that was a little bit of a bonus. It made the work part of it a lot easier, although I do hate missing games. And I heard you talking earlier about how you said you watched the game, would you say twice or 3 times already?
Yep, 3 times.
I rewatched it again today, but I'm not sure where you're getting your stuff, but I haven't seen the All 22 on the NFL Plus subscription yet. And I heard you guys talking about the holding call on Kenny Clark. If you watch that play, from what I remember, Homer, I know that baffled you, and it did me too until I went back and watched it. The tight end was trying to get out ahead, or there was some combination of the tight end and the tackle, and Kenny Clark just grabbed him, which I'd never seen before, but in my opinion, that's a penalty.
I believe Bryan Bulaga, you would agree. No, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's what you say. Yeah.
Yep.
But you both agree that defensive holding is almost never called. Is that what's the proper way to express that?
I would say it's probably not quite as rare as a double 12 men on the field penalty. But
you've never seen that before either. I haven't run into anybody who's ever seen that. Now we get the follow-up question. I'll get back to letting you guys have your segment because I almost don't do this. Mark Tauscher suggested, and I agreed, that if both teams have 12 men, there should be no penalty. They should pick up the flags.
The question I couldn't see because I don't have the All 22 yet. I want to see, did they actually run a play with 12, or were the two guys trying to get off the
I believe
field?
A person on each team was trying to get off the field, but I'm not sure.
It would have been a lot more fun if you had 3 wides, 2 tight ends, and a running back or something, and I don't know what you'd call that package, but that would have been more fun to see, literally 12 on 12 or 8 on 8 or whatever it would be.
Take it away, Bryan.
I know Tausch is really, he's come up with a couple goofy different rule changes that he thinks should. I mean, I can't even, understand what he's thinking, but I'm going to just get to it. What are you hearing on Jordan Love being out for the 2 weeks to 3 weeks this week? What's really getting said, or what are you really hearing? I get that,
It's a great question, Brian, because if you listen to Matt LaFleur a little bit ago, which I'm sure you guys did, you're like, oh, wait a minute, he's talking about this week? And look, I mean, I think there's like a 2% chance of that. He's probably just trying to plant a little bit of a seed of doubt in the Colts' mind. But I cannot imagine that they would put him out on the field, 9 days after an injury like that, where certainly the knee would be weakened, vulnerable, whatever you want to call it, given that the investment that I don't think they do it with any player, but I certainly don't think they would do it with a player that they just invested in as heavily as they did with Jordan. Now, on the flip side, it sure does sound like there is great and legitimate optimism that it may only be a game or two. But on Homer, I keep bringing you back in, even though we should just keep you out of this. But when Favre sprained the ankle, against what was it? It came out against Chicago and threw 5 touchdowns, or no one ever thought
there was no way he was playing.
No, and honestly, in 2008, when Rodgers, messed up his shoulder and he wasn't going to play until they went down to the Hudson Center the morning of the game. I think it was against the Falcons. And then, McCarthy promised him he wouldn't call any deep shots. And then 2 series in, he called the deep shot and Rodgers hit it and he threw for 300 yards that day. I mean, these guys, and I include, Bryan in this because these guys are the top 0.5%. They can do remarkable things with their bodies, and we've seen it time after time. I just don't think that it would be realistic to expect Jordan to play this week. Now, I mean, we can get to Malik Willis in a minute. I don't know how long they can go without Jordan. They certainly don't want to go too long, although I do think that they could, heck, they were 3 games under 500 almost at the midway point last year at 2-5, and we're fine. If they're 1-3, I don't think it's the end of the world.
Yeah, so where do you see – okay, I mean, and you bring in Malik Willis, which I guess is everyone's now question here in Green Bay.
Yeah.
How far along does Matt LaFleur think he is with this offense that he's going to be comfortable opening this thing up and giving him the keys and saying, here, let's go. We got to win ball games here. Has he said anything about that?
Yeah. He just said he has said all the things you would expect a coach to say about how hard he's worked, about how much time that Willis has put in to pick up the plays, and he does seem like a very intelligent guy. People have said that I've talked to. Going back to when they acquired him, certainly didn't think when I was asking those questions it would be because he was going to be playing in week 2. But I do think that from a coaching standpoint, they're trying to figure that out right now. What he can do. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, just at the statistical glance, and I haven't gone back and watched the games, but he started 3 games for the Titans in 2022. And I don't know if you guys talked about what his numbers were in those games, because they were not very good. And clearly the Titans were trying to limit what he could do. But his first start, which they actually won in week 8 against Houston, they won the game 17-10. He threw 10 passes. He was 6 out of 10 for 55 yards with an interception. Okay. The next week they lose. The next week they lose a close one at Kansas City, 20-17. He was 5 for 16 in that game with no touchdowns, no interceptions, 80 yards. Now he did have 8 carries for 43 yards in that game. Then they lose to Houston, 19-14. He actually did throw what you would consider maybe normal quarterback numbers, 14 of 23, but only 99 yards, had 7 rushes for 43 yards with a rushing touchdown. He started 3 games and never got to 100 yards passing in each of those games. That, to me, I don't know how and I know Tennessee probably wasn't, they didn't have the talent necessarily that the Packers have now, although they did have Derrick Henry. But, I'm not sure how you go from 25 of 49 for 230 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 interceptions in 3 games to being able to function at a high level with getting the ball to Romeo Doubs and company and all those guys. So I think that's where I really want to see how they're going to turn Malik Willis into a competent passing quarterback in their system when he wasn't asked. Clearly, in Tennessee in 2022, they weren't asking him to do what Matt LaFleur would probably like to be able to ask him to do.
No, they asked him to run the ball, right?
Yeah. I mean, he rushed.
And Derrick Henry.
He rushed 27 attempts
20 times.
in 3 games.
Yeah.
4.5 yards, 123 yards. That's impressive.
Yeah. No, he definitely can run. He can run the ball. There's no question about it. But, I mean, you can't just be one-dimensional. And, the Colts are certainly going to say, well, okay, we're going to load up and make this guy beat us. That's football 101 right there. And, Bryan, you probably were fortunate enough that you were never on a team where, a defense could just say, all right, we're going to take this away and see if their weakness can beat us, because you guys didn't have a whole lot of weaknesses. But I would imagine from an offensive standpoint, it's probably really hard to operate that way when you know that they're going to try to basically say you have to beat us one way.
No, yeah. I mean, listen, and I was able to watch the Colts game. The Colts defense isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. They're good. They're a good defense. I watched them battle with Houston the entire game, and Houston's a good football team. So, like, a team that's coming into Lambeau, the Colts, they are not a bad football team by any stretch of the imagination. And you're right. They're probably going to load the box with 7 or 8 guys, most likely 7, and the 8th will drop in if it's a run. And Green Bay's going to have to go mano-a-mano if Jordan Love doesn't play, and they're going to try to run the ball with Jacobs. There's going to be free hitters, and Jacobs is going to have to make guys miss, and it's going to be, 3 yards, 4 yards in a cloud of dust type game, and that's the way it's going to be.
It almost, doesn't it, Bryan, almost have to be a perfect game from the offensive line, too, because you miss one block or one assignment or one miscommunication when a team is loading up to stop the run, and all of a sudden you got 2 guys in the backfield, and somebody's going to pick up Josh Jacobs off the ground. Matt LaFleur made the point that Houston really ran on Indianapolis. I have not watched the game, but I think they ran for close to 200 yards, if not more than that. So Indianapolis, not only are they going to want to make sure they stop the Packers from running the ball, but they're going to want to show that, hey, we're better at run defense than, what Joe Mixon did to us and those guys. So,
of course.
They did. I mean, Indy put up 27 points. The fourth quarter was a little bit of a shootout from what I saw. So, I mean, I know Indy's got a young quarterback, but they also have a really good high-paid running back. They've got some weapons. So this is by no means, what I think the betting line went from the Packers were favored by 3 to now they're a 4-point home underdog or something like that. All
right, I got to ask you one quick question before we're on. Is it fair to just assume they're going to lose every game, that Love is out, and then just hope you're wrong and that they steal one? Is that too negative?
I did watch Will Levis play the Bears in the fourth quarter the other day, and Malik Willis, the Malik Willis revenge game in Tennessee. I mean, if they're still starting Will Levis in Week 3 in Tennessee, I liked anybody's chances.
All right, Bryan, you got a final question for?
Yeah, I mean, I guess how do the guys on the defense feel? They're not down in the dumps. They still have to feel somewhat positive about a performance where they get 3 takeaways, and it's not their fault that the 3 takeaways resulted in 9 points, right? Like, correct. That's not on them.
Well, it's the same thing a little bit when you pick off Tom Brady in the NFC Championship game, 3 times in a row in 2021 or whatever that was, and they didn't get any points out of it. Look, I've not had a chance to talk to the defensive guys. Players have been off, or at least off from us since they've been back. But the one thing Jeff Hafley promised was aggressive defense. He blitzed 9 times. He got burned on a lot. I think Hurts was 6 out of 8 for 90 yards and a touchdown plus a scramble against the blitz. But that's the way they want to play, and that's the way defensive guys want to play. So I do think the aggressive style at least has them excited. And they had 7 interceptions all of last season as a team, and they had 2 of them in Week 1.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Rob. Look forward to doing it on Mondays. I won't talk as much next time. I like to listen and let the 2 of you take over. The fourth quarter. Bryan Bulaga, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN. Greg Matzek, Gary Ellerson, the day after reaction show you need in your life.
This offense, Matt LaFleur's side of the ball, dragged this whole team through where they are right now.
It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Mondays with Greg and Gary.
The defense got hot at the right time. That might be what we're seeing here with the Packers defense as well.
Live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios from 6 to 8 p.m. every Monday on 94.5 ESPN.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it. I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for $8.95? Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds. $8.95 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Oh, baby! Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield and in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Some jewelers are charging nearly $5,000 for a lab-grown diamond. Not Robert Hack. Your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. But remember, before you do anything, as I did, RobertHackDiamonds.com, and visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
Milwaukee College Prep, dedicated to closing the opportunity gap for children in Milwaukee, redefining what's educationally possible so more children can pursue their dreams. Join me, Good Karma Brand's founder CEO Craig Karmazin, and Milwaukee College Prep Thursday, October 17th, and take a stand in closing the opportunity gap for Milwaukee scholars. Your support means quality education accessible to over 2,000 scholars in Milwaukee's most challenged communities. Milwaukee College Prep is closing the opportunity gap. To learn more and purchase tickets, go to MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com and click support.
Hey sports fans, looking to level up your next private event? V Private Bar Services is your game changer. Move beyond the ordinary. V Private Bar Services crafts custom cocktails tailored to your brand and your guests' taste. Imagine a bar experience that's as unique as your business. Our expert mixologists will create a memorable experience that your clients and team will rave about. From signature cocktails to full-service bars, we've got you covered. Be the MVP of your next event. Visit vprivatebar.com to book today.
For love of the game.
But there's nothing like being selected to the Olympic team.
And love of their country.
Championship of that level, gold medal, means more.
Tune into Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Inside stories from Bucks stars on the agony and triumph of competing to win it all at the Olympics. It's Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
Gabe, where do you think our group should be taking our golf trip next year?
Jason, I don't know. Do you have time to figure it all out and get all the reservations made? I certainly don't.
Not really. I mean, I'm so busy. If I only knew somebody to call that might do all the work for us.
Oh, I know about Wisconsin Golf Trips. Their main business is booking groups from around the world to play all the great courses in our state, but they're now doing outbound trips for groups each year to places like Michigan, Minnesota, and Nevada. Plus, Wisconsin Golf Trips is even booking custom packages for Scotland and Ireland.
Oh, wow. Let's hit them up.
WisconsinGolfTrips.com.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Until justice stands for all, our lawyers will never rest. More at earthjustice.org/neverrest. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee. Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
And my expertise, how far away? American Place Casino. I used to say a half hour south of the Franklin. All right, it's 38 minutes. You want to be exact. American Place Casino, 38 minutes south of Franklin. Now, they have other stuff. They got great food. They got the slot machines. They got a great sports book. They got great table games. They got great food, North Shore steaks and seafood, and another array. And all the promos, AmericanPlaceCasino.com. But you need to know, a little more than a half hour south of Franklin. 38 minutes. A little more than a half hour south of Franklin. I can say it as many times. American Place Casino, located in Lake County, Illinois. 38 minutes south of Franklin. I don't know the time on this one. I don't have to tell you. Fisco Auto Body, it's a family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. They're so good that I tell you about them so you'll like them and then you'll like me. So people who listen go to Fisco Auto Body and they go, wow, they're great. and Homer thanks. Like they're surprised. So yes, it helps my reputation. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. So you remember the name. The Homer Hour, Bryan Bulaga's Homer Hour. All right, I didn't even get to your overall comment about the officiating. How do you handle watching it going, this is nuts, or there are too many calls, or you played. What do you want, and how do you want it done?
I mean, this is like how it goes every single year. They over-officiate the game for the first 3 weeks, then they back off, and then they ramp up a little bit more towards the end of the season when it starts to get playoff time, then they back off in the playoffs. It's like it's like common practice every year. And it bothered us as players. It bothered me as a player because the game, the rule, not that the rules changed, but the way it's called has changed throughout a season. And it's very aggravating because you want it to be the same from start to finish. But
so
it's
what
just
would
not.
you do at the beginning of the season? Did you change the way you played, or is that not possible?
You don't change, but you got to be a lot more tight with your technique. You got to be a lot more consistent and just try to make sure things aren't loose, because there's the smallest thing. A lot of the time the refs see it and they flag you for it.
Does the coaching staff tell you about this year to year, or is it just something you have to learn as a vet?
You just learn as you go throughout the season. Like, you just learn that, like, it gets called different in the beginning than it does in the middle, than it does at the end, than it does in the playoffs. It's unfortunate because fans hate it. I hate now that I'm sitting here watching it, seeing so many flags every play. It bothers the heck out of me, but that's just the way this goes. Hey, because it's also their preseason as well. They're starting their season because they didn't have any of the ones playing during preseason. So this is a
I don't
for them.
care what Aaron Rodgers does. He's the quarterback of the New York Jets. But if I played with him like you did, I'd be watching it. I'd be curious. Are you?
I'm going to watch.
Right.
Yeah, I'm watching. I hope he does well.
The Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Mondays, starting right now with Greg and Gary. This will be good. Really good. Next.
Couple of accidents to deal with right now. We've got one on southbound 41 right at Silver Spring off on the left.